Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. We are looking at the most active stocks that have happened or most active on May 30th, 2025. I can't believe we are going to the last month of 2026 or 2025, excuse me. I want to look at Palantir. Let's take a look at Palantir. I have not looked at Palantir in a while. And even on Yahoo Finance, if we're going to be truly serious about what we're seeing, I mean, this thing is up 75% for the year. That is wild. I have not paid attention to Palantir even remotely enough. And I know most of you who are watching it are probably either obsessed or at least on a t-shirt. Now, looking at Palantir, it is very, very interesting because this is a hell of a move. I mean, when we look at this chart, this is 9 months. So somebody got pregnant at the beginning of this and had a baby in that period of time. But what I find to be nuts is that the volatility has been nothing short of stunning. And I mean that in a like slightly positive way, slightly negative way. The reason why is because if we look at what's been going on, you've essentially had a slow and steady progression here through like November and December, which was really nice. And then we essentially like hit a little gully here. What was this? At the very beginning of 2025. It essentially flipped back. We had what looked like a counter trend move here. It's just this move from here on the first to essentially here on the fourth. I mean, I know that probably was fun for some people if you bought here and you sold at the very top in the middle of February, but then you had to sell and then essentially buy back in the middle of April. That wasn't really that much fun for anyone. But where we're going now, how the stock is at performing now is actually very, very nice. The reason why is because you're actually breaking out to higher highs. You're truly finally breaking out to like real returns on Palantir. Now, if we look, one of the things I like to see is I like to see when the price is kind of like streaky and breaking out to a certain extent. When it has that red background with the black lettering, that means that it's two standard deviations above its mean. What I like about the volume too is that with that redder background, that means it's three standard deviations above its mean. Especially at 182 million shares traded. I mean, that's the highest amount that we've seen since back on the 6th when they had 200 million shares traded. But they are not regularly, I mean, they can do 100 million shares easy, but above 150 million, that's I mean, you have to at least respect that there's some threshold for every single stock, and it looks like for Palantir, 150 million shares is really the threshold of like when we get to like serious business. Sometimes it'll definitely peak out around 145. That's why I think that 150 plus, that's when you really got to respect the volume you see in Palantir. And today is no different. What I'd love to see is that we have continued to see a higher low. On this trade range signal, you can see in this column here, we've had a higher low all the way since May 7th. Again, the day after that big volume is probably not just like insignificant in my opinion. It's been really nice because I think something that is really underrated is that when the beginning of a big move is going to take place, you're going to have a lot of volatility that's going to expand. And you can see this in the range that's being generated here by Palantir. Sometimes when you have low volatility and you just have a slow and steady move up, that's what you want to see in like an index, in my opinion. When you're in those really low, when you're really in really good growth, really low inflation experiences, specifically for the US stock market, you're gonna be looking at that slow and steady wins the race sort of situation where it's gonna be like a 1% per day. Now, when growth starts to rip, okay, when we're about to get like tax cuts and like slight stimulus and we're about to like rip, or you're getting a bunch of government contracts or you have relationships or whatever it is, these kinds of moves will get extreme. And what I mean is you can see here in the range, like that breakout is unnatural, but it's not unnatural to the character of Palantir. And a lot of people do talk about the character of individual equities or like stocks, things that they're trading. But when I look here at Palantir, I mean, I can see that the bottom of the range continues. Essentially, now it's breaking out higher after it absolutely just got like pushed down because the volatility broke out, right? Like you can see here, if we look back at the chart, the bottom of the range actually went lower when the stock started to break out because the volatility in terms of the price change. Because like, look at from here from February 27th to essentially, I mean, April 10th, it didn't go anywhere. So if you get an expansion in one direction, it doesn't matter if it was up or down, the volatility is going to break out. And you can see that in the range because we went from what was this in here, like 92 down to in the 80s, it looks like. Yeah, like I can't see exactly what that was, but in the middle, you can see here, yeah, we are talking about a massive move because it was essentially here where it was the middle of April. We're at 72. We can see the bottom of the range pushed down to like 62, right? As we're breaking out. Like at that point, if you think about it, the lowest point in the range at $62, the price of Palantir was up 26% in 15 days. I mean, that's 3 weeks of trading, and it just was incredible breakout and volatility, which is a great signal. I probably had some signals back here, like this bull target, as well as there's because of the volatility, I was throwing mixed signals too. I had a big sell here, which was completely unnecessary because even though you're down 20 in one day, you're up what 40% over the course of 1 month, nearly 70% in 1 month the day before. Palantir is showing you why volatility, especially when you have it to the upside, is really, really fantastic. But what is difficult is to know exactly when to buy it. In my opinion, this is a great place to buy Palantir. I know a lot of people, depending on what type of trading that they would do, if they're not necessarily breakout traders or they're not necessarily trend followers, they may not appreciate the type of move that I'm recognizing exists here. They may be more mean reversion traders. And they may, I mean, if we're talking about true people who are actually paying attention, especially people who are just doing like cash equities as opposed to doing like a bunch of, I don't know, exotic or, I mean, God forbid you're living your life on zero DTE options in Palantir, but if you are making a good living, God bless and please make a donation. I mean, out of respect for those who have come before you, please donate to us, those of us who cannot do that. But Palantir right now, let me add it to my portfolio real quick. The reason why is because I want to just take a quick little second to see where it stacks up. And if I go into my portfolio here, it's actually going to give me like a little AI analysis at the very at the bottom there. So what I like, and if you watch my previous video, I compared it. What I like, actually, I would actually buy Nvidia. Yeah, I'd actually buy Nvidia over Palantir right here. The reason why is because Nvidia is closer to its trade level, as well as Nvidia has more distance. It's not as close to the top of the range. Like the top of the range, Palantir is so close to the top of the range already at 131. I mean, it could definitely go to 137. Don't get me wrong, but like doesn't look great. Let's look at the what does it say? Bullish sentiment persists. Prices comfortably above buy levels with volumes near highs. It's in a healthy range, but approaching the resistance. I mean, I'd be watching for a dip near to 10. Yeah, like I mean. Exactly. I love the commentary of my integration with ChatGPT. I mean, I give it a good prompt, but like that's truly exactly what I would think. But yeah, it's really interesting. But tell me what you think in the comments below. And if you're interested in using this, you can always go to this app right here, traderangeauthentication.web.app. You can go ahead and sign up. It's free. Just go ahead and log in. The only thing you need to have is a Gmail account. I can make it for other things if you're interested. Just put in the comments if you're like, I want to log in with Facebook. I need to use my Apple. Bro, I'm still on AOL.com. You know what I mean? Like, let me know. But tell me what you think in the comments below. We'll talk soon.